Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of TerraTech. And on tonight's episode, we're going to be doing something a little different from our main game. We're going to be taking a break and coming in here and designing something that I think we definitely need. And the reason I'm doing this is because in the game, you cannot stop yourself from getting attacked. So it's just going to be a non-stop barrage of enemies because of where I built my base. And one of the things we definitely need to have out there, either a fixed anchor or a rotating anchor. I think the rotating anchor is probably going to be the best one for us for the guard towers that we're going to be building. And I figured I'd just take a minute, go ahead and build some of these things, and then while I'm in the game, I can leave my base, go off and collect some resources, or get some blocks or something along those lines, and maybe be able to have my base secure all by itself. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put 4 of these cabs on each one of my guard towers. Now, some of you may be thinking, why are you going to put 4 of those on there? They do kind of lag out the game a little bit. Having a lot of those can cause that issue. Well, the main reason behind it is the fact that these things, they are kind of the weak point on your bot as far as what the enemy sees. Now, these things can see up to, I believe it's 180 view or angle on their sight, so they can see from like right there all the way to the other side, right about there. However, they can't see behind them. They can still fire behind them, and if you create a bot, you'll see it yourself, that they're still able to fire the weapons backwards. However, the enemy always sees this as an opportunity to try to find a weak spot behind your bot. And if you're, one of those guys that didn't change the angle of these things, or didn't put multiple ones on there, they're going to see that as their opportunity. I really hate this scroll wheel thing. What is it? Is it the F? I'm not going to use those keys. I told myself I wouldn't. Yeah, it's it's a stupid thing. Come on, put it the right way. There we go. Okay, now it's changing the direction. And I can't really see it because we're so far away. All right, this sucks. I really dislike that thing, and it threw me off topic too. That's something else. All right, so yeah, what I was saying goes is that you definitely want these things facing in all 4 directions so that the enemy doesn't see it being a problem. Like, there we go. Now I can do it this way. And he won't look for that one weak spot, which definitely is somewhere on your bot. Even if you don't consider it to be that way, even if you think that there's weapons surrounding your entire bot and there really isn't a weak spot, you just want to cover all bases. So having 4 of these guys, one looking in every direction, and equally apart from one another. If you create a giant size bot, because I've done this many times before, those are the ones I actually tend to, I don't know if I want to say favor, but I fall into that trap of building them so quickly, so often, that I'm pretty good with them. I think I know a lot of the flaws that can come from having a big bot like that. And if you don't space these things evenly apart, and maybe put one at the back of your bot as well as in the front and on the sides, and if you just stick them all in the center, kind of like this is, and then you make this huge platform around it, you're going to find very quickly that doesn't really work all that well, that the enemy is not going to be that fooled about it, and he's going to go off to, say, the back of your bot. I didn't think, can I change the direction this thing is going? Maybe like that? Or will that affect it? I bet it does. I don't know if this will affect it the same way as your cabs do, the AI module. I'm going to have it facing forward for now, and I'll just put blocks going up on the side, because I am going to cover these cabs up with colored blocks. Now, the idea that I had for this was to create a, it's just weird. It's going to be creating a platform that's going to be able to have a lot of weapons on it, but at the same time, I want it to look cool, because there's going to be a lot of these on the map. However, I don't want it to be something that's going to create too much lag. So I'm going to try to keep it somewhat simple. I also want to be able to afford these. And the more blocks you put on this, the more it's going to cost. Now, I'm thinking of some type of umbrella that's going to be on the top. And the main reason behind that is, one thing I've noticed is that your solar reactor tends to get destroyed pretty quickly no matter where you put it on there, unless it's pretty high up. However, you don't want it to go just straight up like this and not have multiple layers, because if it's just one layer, and say I take out this block right here in the center, you'll see everything else goes crashing down from the top. So you definitely want multiple layers, probably 2 to 3 thick at some point on there, whether it's even or kind of coming up on the sides like I am doing right there. But either way, you're definitely going to want multiple layers. So I'm going to leave that for the colored blocks so I can have, I don't know, maybe like an orange or a blue or something from over there. I'm not sure what color I'm going with. Now, the umbrella on the top, that is going to be there because I want the light to reflect off of it. I want, you know, some type of illusion from far away that I can see and be like, oh, those are the orange lights I put on there from the geocore. I know that is where my base is. Or those are the white lights I put on there from the GSO, and those are leading me towards resources or something. Just in case you get turned around out there, you can kind of find your way back a little easier. I guess I'm going to go with green to start with, because we're going to be making multiple ones. So I'm going to say green is going to be our base. It's going to be the one that we know is safe. Just because green is go or something along those lines subconsciously, or because I like the color green, you know. So we're going to try that out. Again, trying not to go overboard, but this very first one I probably will until I go into the game and see the price. Now, I did go into the game just to make sure this worked because, you know, you have to buy this from the vending machine, the terminal. And when you buy things from the terminal, it, you know, launches it from space down to where you're at. And I wasn't sure if it was going to connect the pieces, if it was actually going to land on the ground and stay anchored to the ground itself. I was kind of worried that maybe that little, you know, problem was going to rear its ugly head after I had done all this stuff. So I went in there and I created a very, very basic design. It was like 3 blocks and an anchor and a cab on it. I think one of the what do you call it, the AI modules, just to make sure, just to give it everything that it's going to need, plus, you know, down the road it's going to have even more blocks and even more weapons and things of that sort. But just to start off with, I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to have any weird issues with that. And it actually worked perfectly fine. It anchored it to the ground right away. It didn't make me have to do it, although I'm not sure if they ever fixed that little bug. I know at some point down the road, I don't know why I'm doing it this way when I can just come in here and buy it this way. This is the faster way right here. But yeah, they did have a little bug in there that did not allow you to actually anchor blocks down on the ground that had come up. So if one of your towers here had the anchor block itself shot out, and that's all you had down there, maybe it got through 2 or 3 layers and shot that anchor block down, well, everything on top is going to fall down. But it's going to fall down together. It's going to fall down as one piece. And when you have that, you should be able to, at some point in the game, they said, be able to just pick up all those pieces as a whole, reattach it to the anchor, and continue on your way. I don't think that ever got integrated into the game. So maybe down on one of the new patches down the road, that's going to be a thing. But for now, if it gets destroyed, you kind of have to just rebuild it from scratch. And that sucks. That's a lot of time you're spending to do that for something that would be almost like an undo button, you know, just kind of pick it up, start over, and reattach it. Or if you build something like this, you should be able to pick up the base and reattach it, you know, 20 feet away. You can't do that yet. So wherever you're going to want this to be, or at least in the general area, that's where you're going to want to take that little terminal that is portable and move it over there, that from, you know, kind of your own way, because it's probably not going to be able to do that. Now, I'm going to put a few of these on here because I am going to have some of those batteries on here, and I also like to have multiple ones on here just because it does create more energy faster. And if it's creating the energy faster, then even if you only have 1 or 2 batteries on here, they get charged up really, really quickly. So if you do have a bot come by and steal a whole bunch of energy, use it for himself, and then run off, it charges him up really quickly, and it charges up the batteries again very, very quickly afterwards. So even if you only have 1 or 2, if you get into a fight right next to one of these towers, it's going to be able to keep both of you healed, or charged up, I should say, a lot easier than it would otherwise be. So, and you know, none of this is really going to be seen up here, to be honest, and I kind of like the way it looks anyway. So you could actually get away with putting a lot more up here. I just, you know, we got to remember that you're going to have to pay for this. You're going to have to buy it, because right now they don't have it in the game, where when you buy one of these things that you've actually designed, you can use like your own blocks that you've discovered or something along those lines. That's not here, so you are going to have to pay full price. Let's see. I do kind of want one of these down here on the bottom somewhere. So I'm going to stick that there for now. I would like these to be somewhat of a terminal that I can use to buy things down the road. I might actually just go ahead and make this like the Uber one and get myself everything I could possibly want on it. And then down the road, like take from it and then save that as something else so that, you know, it's not so expensive. But right now, that's going to be definitely a little pricey. Let's see. Okay, so I do need several of these. So let's go ahead and put 4 of those down. I don't know if I'm going to use 4 exactly, but I do want a few extras. So when I'm moving them around, let's see. We need some batteries on here. All right. Let's go ahead and do 1 full line of batteries here. These will be, of course, covered up so that they are not exposed and ready to explode. I'm going to do a whole nother line right here. Remember, each one of these, I believe, is 100. So it definitely does start to add up. Let's see. Small generator. No, I don't need that. I do want some wireless chargers. Not sure where they should be, so for now, I think I'm going to go ahead and just throw them up here on the top. Again, I don't know if this is close enough for them to actually go off. If it is, I kind of like the way that looks. So let's just put a few up here on this row. We will eventually create another little bot and have him drive by and see if this thing actually works the way I want it to. If not, then yeah, like I said, it's going to take a little bit more redesigning. Why won't that go there? There we go. I guess it's just a weird little click of the button that wasn't working. Small generator, I don't think we really need that. Let me go through anything else. The lights. The lights, I'm going to hold off on that for now. I'm going to wait to see if it plays out the way I want it to with everything else, because I still have to redesign the bottom, put the blocks around it, and make sure that is all the way I want it to be. Let's see. We do need to put these things down beforehand. I would have liked those to be centered. I guess we could still do them centered. Let's see, if I take this block out right here, yeah, it's going to be good. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw that in there, and we'll take this block out right here, and we'll throw another one of those up there. Not exactly every little bit. Now, these can be replaced, and they probably will be replaced at some point down the road when you get the better ones. So if you get the Venture shield bubbles or repair bubbles, you will be able to have a bigger bubble around it. I thought about using those, to be honest, but I don't really like the idea of having a shield or repair bubble that the enemy can massively get in. These are the smallest ones you can get, and therefore if the enemy runs up onto this and starts ramming it, he's not going to get healed all that much. He will get a little bit of healed, but I don't think it's going to be something I have to be too concerned with. Let's see. That's not going to work. I was going to replace that piece there in the center. I need another block because I'm going to replace this one down on the bottom. So let's go ahead and put this right there. And we'll put one more underneath it right there. Okay, so now when I remove this piece right here, nothing should fall apart. That sounds good to me. And then we can put another one down here. And we'll remove these blocks here on the side, I'm sure, at some point. Let me... I can't get any lower. There we go. Alright, so that looks like everything is covered in a repair bubble right down the center. However, it's not covered by the shield right down the center. So for me to do that, I'm going to have to fundangle a little bit more. Let's see, does this work? Will this attach to it and let me remove that? Yes, it will. I definitely should have thought about this ahead of time. Okay, so that is there. Let's see, we want to remove this one. Yes, let's remove that one and put another one underneath it. Nice. And we'll do the same up here. How about one right there? And this is why I wanted to do it in here and not in the field. So I wasn't worried about, oh, I'm getting attacked and now half my bot has been destroyed. You know, I wanted to make sure that we had plenty of time to do this and figure out all the kinks so that later on I can just buy this already done and I don't need to sit here and like mess around with it every single time. So that looks pretty good to me. I don't really think this area up here is going to get attacked, to be honest. It's pretty high up. It could, and if it really does, then I'll throw another shield generator up there or something, or the Venture one. That Venture one is going to be really, really nice for us if this is going to be an issue. But I don't want to do that, mainly for the cost, and two, because you have to find these pieces before you can put them on. So if you haven't found like the green ones, then throwing green ones on there probably not going to be a good idea for you. You might want to just keep everything gray to start off with, but because I like the green ones and I wanted this to be colorful, I'm going to go with the colored ones and just have some fun with them. Now, let's see, what other color can I go with? Let's go into our colored blocks. We might throw some of those on there too, who knows. Let's go with white. I kind of like maybe a white base will definitely be shiny, and I want the light to reflect, you know, a whole lot from far away. So I think maybe the white one will help me do that a little bit more than some of the other colors. But I don't know that for sure. I've never tried any of the other colors in this design, so it may just be something we try out from time to time and come in here and create maybe a little smaller one, maybe a bigger one, because, you know, this one is kind of big when you look at the GSO, but when you look at GeoCore, this is probably small to medium, if even that, because those get just massive in size. So as you become bigger and bigger and bigger in your bot design, the enemies become bigger as well, and then they have to fend off bigger enemies because of it. So yeah, this may not be the absolutely perfect design for all stages, but it's going to be, you know, more than enough for us at the moment, because we're not going that full bore into the big guys. We're trying to stay into small, and I think we've done a fairly decent job with it. But small definitely has its challenges. It's not easy. Like the big guys, when you come into a problem, you can overcome that problem fairly easy just by compensating a little bit more than you normally do by having, you know, a bigger bot. It doesn't have to be necessarily designed better. It's just bigger in general. And therefore you have more weapons and you have more shields and you have more batteries and you win the day because of it. With this, because you're constantly thinking about space and how much it's going to weigh and just the size alone, you don't really have that ability to just overcompensate and create something just massive in size. I don't know why I did that. I think maybe I clicked on something. But yeah, it definitely gives you challenges that you don't normally get. And that's why I like coming in here and just trying out new designs, new ideas, small, medium, large, whatever the case may be, just to, you know, have that unique perspective that you wouldn't otherwise have because you just always did big bots. Yeah, this is going to be good. The reason I'm putting a lot of blocks on the inside is because as the base, you are going to get attacked a lot more, these blocks anyways, than any of the other sides, for the most part, especially with the smaller bots that we've been encountering, the ones that we've been building. So I want to make sure there's plenty of space down here for them to do a little bit of damage, because they do. They run up onto these things and they just ram into it occasionally. It doesn't happen too often, but they ram into it, and then they explode because they got little, you know, fuel tanks or whatever the case may be. And because that happens, it does a lot more damage to this. Or they run up to this and die like 2 feet away, and then when their cab explodes, they do a lot of damage. So I want to make sure this is as perfect with the amount of protection as possible. And something cheap. These blocks, these colored ones, are pretty cheap when you think about just how much they cost to build. So if they do get destroyed, it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg to fix. All right, so that is done. Oh, you know what? It is a rotating anchor, and these are fixed. I'm going to have to lift these up. Wow. Okay, so 2 does not work. 2, they will still be fixed. Let's do these here in the corner. I'm going to have to replant those down when I do decide to sell. But for now, I guess that's going to be good. I want 1 on every corner. That way I don't have to go around too far to find it. So there's 1 right there, 1 right there. Alright, so that looks good. Now we just need the weapon. So let's go and see what weapon. This is where the money's going to add up, I think. Because even with these cheapy GSO ones, they're still going to cost a fairly decent amount of money. So let's see. I think for the bottom ones, I want stud lasers, just because they seem to hit the enemy a little bit more when they don't have to aim. You know, like if they're not having to readjust, these things tend to do a fair bit of damage, because the enemy's not stupid. It tries to find the right spot. If it's on a hill, it'll find the hill where it can fire over it, and these things can't. and therefore your bot just sits there and takes a lot of damage. So I want to make sure that there's some weapons on this thing that can fire in all directions at the same time. I guess we'll do this for now. That way it's firing in every direction. There's the antenna on top. I may just end up popping that up one more. I think I actually will, because that's going to interfere with these weapons here quite a bit. Yeah, let me go ahead and take these off because I made that mistake anyway. So let's put that on there. Let's go up to right about there. Same thing on this one. Yeah, I guess that's going to be okay. I'm going to have to see how it works before I settle with where I want the weapons to be. I'm hoping this is going to be a good idea. Let's see. Let's get these here. I'm going to do the same thing with the other ones and move those up one more. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that real quick here. Let's get these up. 1, 2, right there. Yeah, right there. And, yeah, you know, I like the stud lasers a lot for the lower parts of my bots. However, if you're one of those people who want the weapons to be able to turn, go with the, what is it, the AK-47 or whatever it's called. It's right here, the ZK-47, which is a light machine gun. This one can turn a good little bit, not too much, but it will turn a little bit to face the enemy and shoot at them that way. It only takes up one, so it's not very big. This one right here, the narrow gauge coil laser, is just absolutely horrible in my opinion. It fires straight, doesn't turn really at all, and it doesn't aim at them either. So it just fires straight out and kind of arcs down in the pattern of the weapon. So not one of my favorites. This one's just kind of the same way. It just shoots out straight, but there's no arc. It's completely and totally a straight laser, and so it will go for a very long distance before it hits something like the ground or a tree or something along those lines. That's the one I tend to prefer. It doesn't have to readjust itself at all. So if the enemy is an adventure bot and it's going really, really fast around you, and you have a bunch of those venture fire rifles that just can't adjust fast enough, this is the one that's actually going to be doing damage as it spins around you, because it just fires straight. Eventually the enemy is going to run into that and do some damage. So that's why I want it here on the bottom, and I think that's going to work out fairly well. In fact, if I go ahead and fire it now, okay, that did not work. Of course, it changed my fire button yet again. I don't know why it does that every single time. Fire all weapons, go ahead and save it. Every single time, guys, I kid you not. All right, so there we go. That looks like every direction except diagonal, and good luck trying to get the diagonal pieces to fire that way. That's probably not going to happen. So that actually looks pretty fantastic. I like the way that's going. If the enemy is spinning around my bot, pretty much the only spots I have to worry about is right here in the center of those areas. So now that I know that's the case, I can put a few pieces up here at the top, a few blocks that will allow me to stick some of the venture fire rifles up there and have the enemy just kind of get destroyed if that's where he decides to sit. So let me go ahead and put some right there. I'll do the same thing on this end, right there. Another one on this end, and one more over here. Okay, so that should be good. 1, 2, 3. So this is the only side. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm just making sure everything's symmetrical, trying to keep it that way anyways. All right, let's go to the weapons. I am going to go to Venture, because Geocore would just be overkill. And let's go with the Venture Fire, or Hail Fire rifles, I guess, and put those on there. Did we get to buy those? Really? Why would you want to buy them when you're in R&D? Like, who would... You don't have any money. I guess you have an infinite supply of money, but that's just weird. Okay, so if I stick these up here, they may be facing one direction or the other. However, they will face towards the enemy when the enemy comes. The only reason you have to worry about the direction they're facing is that you see right here, it is facing over this middle block, which means if I decide to put something here, this weapon at the moment will get in the way of that. If it turns and faces a different direction, then that will not be the case. So let's go ahead and actually move these off. In fact, I'm just going to have them facing outwards, because that's the direction they're going to be facing anyways in the game. Let's go ahead and put these here, and these right here and here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's see, if I fire those right now, they will just fire in the direction they're facing, but they actually will turn and aim at the enemy. And I'm hoping, because they're sitting on a block, that they're not going to be able to have I mean, I'm hoping they won't have trouble, at least when they're firing down at these guys, because they're not going to be able to fire straight down. However, these guys will, so I might just go ahead and stick these on here like that and see if, yeah, if it comes down to it, they can at least fire straight down at the enemy who's trying to find that weak spot. And I don't want them to do that. Now, you don't have to worry about flying bots just yet. I don't know if that's ever going to become a thing where they're going to put flying bots in that can fire at you from the sky. But if they ever do, then you might want to have some of these pointing straight up, or at least up here at the top pointing straight up. So you can have some kind of like AA, guard towers doing that for you. That looks actually pretty good. Let me try it there. Wow, it's lagging out the game a little bit already. So if I have a whole bunch of these, that might be a thing. I might actually have to make this umbrella a little larger now that I made the base so big. That actually looks pretty good. Okay, I don't want to go with the Uzis. That definitely lag out the game quite a bit. Let's see. Can I go with these? I can. I guess we can do that. We're going to go with these all the way up. Remember, if the bot is bigger, you're going to have weapons higher up pointing in that direction. The other reason behind this is it's going to allow my guys to shoot down. Like, they can shoot down at an angle, maybe not directly down, but enough of a distance, I believe, that before the enemy gets to this area, they're going to have shot him several times already. So I think that's going to be the best way to do that one. Again, this is going to take a little bit of, a little bit of practice, a little bit of R&D to find out what works and what doesn't. And I'm hoping I know already because I played it enough, but there's no guarantee on that one, I don't think. Let's do this. In the center, I guess we'll go back with the stud lasers would be the best one, because they're just going to fire straight out. So if the enemy is this tall and does get up this high, at least, we're going to have to change that one there in a second. But at least this way, there's some weapons hitting it, maybe not a whole lot, but a few. And I'm leaving the top row because I still want to put those lights on there. I'm going to change that one as well. Yeah, I still want to put those lights on there to reflect this. I do wish the R&D had a day and night cycle so I could see what it's going to look like at night, because it's going to be completely different at night than when it's during daytime. But maybe not completely, but it's enough to make a difference, enough for me to see what gets more light than the other ones. So let's see, can we do this? You know what? I probably should leave a space down here, like one space for. Actually, it's going to take two spaces, isn't it? Well, if I take this off, I'll just attach it to the ground. It doesn't necessarily have to be attached to this thing right here. It just needs to be on here for now. And that's not going to want to go the same way it was earlier, isn't it? There we go. All right. Now we need lights. Let's see. I'm thinking lights. Do I want it reflecting up or down? I guess we'll go down, because we can do a whole bunch of these strips and see if that makes a difference. I know it's going to make a huge difference, but how much of one? It's not going to be exactly even there. I don't like that too much. I want it to be as much even as possible, so we get as much light being spread. Even if it's something like this, that's actually not a bad design. And if I make it go a little bit further out, which I think I'm going to do, then we'll definitely have the space. But for now, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode here. I know it's not completely done yet, but this is going to be the massive one, apparently. I don't know how to do things on small scales when I first start out, so this is going to be our massive... I cannot even imagine how much this thing is going to cost. But once you can put one of these things down, I don't imagine you're going to have too much trouble. Like, this is a full-blown, big freaking bot made to just destroy stuff. And if you could put maybe 4 or 5 of those things down around your base, then you're more than set. Like, you just don't ever have to worry about anything ever again. Now, I only put one AI module on this thing, and that could be an issue. However, I did leave the top open, so if I have to, I can come in here and like move one of these blocks, or just get rid of it altogether and put an AI module right where it's at. I don't think that's going to be the case, but if it does, at least I have that wiggle room. If you make this just a giant pillar and you put weapons on the way, all the way up to the top, and everything is covered, then if you want to add something to it later on down the road and you forgot, you're going to have to take pieces of it apart, and probably a lot, because if you have weapons on it, those are one layer, the blocks are the next layer, and then in the center, hopefully you didn't go too overboard and put nothing but shield and recharge bubbles, because you're probably not going to want to get rid of those if you did. So I only went with three of those bubbles on here. You can see they do overlap each other, but it comes down to how much power you have. And now looking at the size of this thing, I could have technically used a giant geocore one. However, the geocore batteries, from what I'm told, actually do not have as much power as the GSO ones do for the same size. So if you put the same amount of batteries to create this exact same size battery here with the GSO ones, by putting the little blocks, one by one and one on top of the next one, you would actually get more power from the geocore, or the GSO ones, not the geocore. The geocore ones actually have more strength, so it's more like armor plating and things of that sort, which is how they explain it. I don't really see that being the case. I mean, yeah, they have more strength, but you would think that the smaller ones, being the fact that each one is encased in its own, casing, would be a waste of space, because they're round and they're not exactly square, and this is built for it, but that's not the way it actually works in the game. But again, guys, I'm AC Gamer, and I will definitely catch you all next time. Hey guys, and welcome to the disembodied voice of AC Gamer. We are definitely going to be doing a lot more series in the future, but here are a few of them that you guys might find interesting. Of course, you're more than welcome to check them out. I would love to hear your comments. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. It's definitely the indicator that I use to tell if you guys want to see more videos like that, of that particular game style, of that series in the long run. So when you guys leave comments down, it helps me decide whether we should keep doing it, as well as whether you want to see games like that in the future. And here are a few of them right here. I kind of picked out a few of different genres. We will be doing spotlights for other YouTubers in the future, so if you want to get a little shout out, definitely let me know. If you group with me, chances are you will get a shout out in here eventually. But for now, these are just 4 series that I have that I feel like could use a little bit more attention, and that you guys might actually enjoy as well. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will definitely catch you all next time.